I'm joined now by Randi Weingarten. She is a labor leader, an attorney, and an educator. She's the president of the American Federation of Teachers, which represents some 1.7 million teachers, paraprofessionals, and school personnel. Randi, it's great to see you. Randi, it's great to see you again, my old friend. Thank you for talking to me this morning. Let's talk about this initiative, because I think it's an interesting point. There's this war, this battle going on between people about books, but in the end, the collateral damage is kids who don't get to read books. The head of the American Library Association had said to me, I said, you know, every time we have a banned book author on, the sales of that book goes up. And she said, but the kids still don't get to read it. The kids still don't get to read it in school. Their teachers don't get to give them those books. Their librarians don't get them to assign the books.
First off, Allie, it's great to see you, and also to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms and grandmas in the country. And we certainly saw a lot of them yesterday in our 5 events. But it is true. I will never forget some conversations I've had with moms who say, wait a second, every time you ban a book, you're taking the control over what my child reads from me by not having that book in the library, and essentially then saying that it's only wealthy parents who actually then get some access to books, that, you know, the parents whose kids may never have a classroom library or home library at home don't ever have access to it. And so, you know, part of what we've tried to do about 10 years ago is with this entity called First Book, we just said, how do we actually get books into the hands of kids who may not have access to them, and have them at home and have them as classroom libraries? And one thing has led to another. And frankly, the last 2 years, we've actually given out more books. Each of the last 2 years, we've given out over 1.5 million books, because we know that as others are banning books, if you really believe in reading and literacy, then we need to make sure that kids see themselves in books and have books at home, and families have books at home, so that kids can actually have that kind of joy and confidence that comes from having a book, a physical copy of a book.
Randi, you studied this for a long time. I've seen and read studies on it, but can you help our viewer understand? I think they probably all understand this anyway, but what is the distinction about the educational outcomes for kids who grow up surrounded by books in their actual home?
So there's a lot of studies from early childhood, many of which, you know, during the Obama administration, as people were trying to get early childhood settings set up, people heard this. Basically, the more kids are read to at home, and it doesn't matter what language, but the more they're read to at home, the more they understand words, the more they put words together, the better off they do. I think it's essentially, if you're read to basically every night or two and read a certain number of words, you're going to be successful in school. I don't have the exact figures in front of me. But
but there's a studied correlation.
There's a total correlation. But the other correlation, Allie, is this, that we know that, you know, if kids can read with proficiency by 3rd grade, that is the one of the biggest criteria, poverty criteria in terms of success for school. And so when kids have books at home, and families have books at home, that means that kids can be read to, parents can read to them, kids can discuss a book with families. Like we've made these, the work that we've done, like we have 700 chapters who have done these Reading Opens the World events on a Saturday or Sunday, or a community reading event after school, because we know that if we bring families together, then this becomes a family enterprise, not just a child enterprise. So that's why when you say we've given out 10 million books, it's to really spark that level of learning. Let me just also say that we have to teach kids how to read too. So you have the tools of reading that we're doing as well. But when a kid sees, like, you know, the Amanda Gorman book, which we give out when a kid sees themselves in Amanda Gorman, when they see themselves in that poem, when they hear and then they see her, then there's a connection. There was a family that came up to me yesterday at the event in New York and said, "You have a book about Haitian culture here. I've been looking for a book like this for a long time. Thank you." And that's what it means to have books that kids see themselves in.
You know, one of the things that I think people enjoy about the show is that we always give great detail about whoever the guest is and what they've written and what they've said. So I have to do that about you. In 2022, the former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said in an interview on the news site Semaphore, and I'm quoting, "The most dangerous person in the world is Randi Weingarten. It's not a close call. If you ask who's the most likely to take this republic down, it would be the teachers' unions and the filth that they are teaching our kids and the fact that they don't know math and reading or writing," end quote. Take down the republic, Randi Weingarten. I know you're effective, but that's something.
I mean, I do not understand why they are afraid of knowledge, or why they are afraid of kids critically thinking or sparking imagination. I don't, for the life of me, you know, this is, and Allie, you and I have had these conversations for a long time. You know, I am a history teacher by training and a lawyer by training. When you look at or listen to a Ruth Ben-Ghiat or Ann Applebaum or Tim Snyder, they will tell you what authoritarians do. And authoritarians do two things. They basically try to create apathy and chaos, or they try to create fear and bullying. And then they alone are the, ones who can fix it. And so if you don't have knowledge, fear becomes much more inviting. And what we're trying to do is create knowledge. We don't want our kids, we don't want to determine what our kids think, but we really want our kids to know how to think. And so for Mike Pompeo to say that, it means, the code is, I don't want kids to have knowledge. And this is part of why, as they ban books, as they try to stop the teaching of honest history, that's what school teachers do, K-12. And what I love about my union is that our nurses, we're now the second largest nurse union, nurses are giving out books. We're the largest higher ed union. Our faculties are giving out books. Our public employees are giving out books. This has become union work to actually make sure we inculcate knowledge and the joy of reading.
I love what you said. If you don't have knowledge, fear becomes more inviting. Randi, good to see you as always, my friend. Randi Weingarten is the president of the American Federation of Teachers.